Oh, hello. I'm Charles Darwin. Of course, I'm dead. So usually I'm up there. But who should I bump into just the other day up there but Galileo? Together we came up with some remarkable new ideas, so I thought it best I come back down to tell you all about them. You can see the whole conversation at evolvedself.com. But while we're here, why don't I give you some idea how it went? I have to admit, things didn't go all my way. Sometimes Galileo's mastery of logic was just too much for me. Yes. Ooh. Okay, you win. And I promised, if I couldn't answer your questions, I'd help you come up with your own theory of evolution. I promised, so I will. You British, how gracious in defeat. Yes, I win. Now you must act as my research library. Here's what we'll do. I'll ask you what your modern evolutionary theory cannot account for. Then, from what you tell me, I will figure out what to put in its place. Okay? I suppose so. I did promise. Okay, let's begin with your natural selection. Tell me something it cannot account for. What do you mean? It can account for everything. That's what makes it so powerful. No. There must be something it cannot account for. Think. Well, obviously it can't account for how the first living creatures evolved, because until they'd evolved and began reproducing through successive generations, there'd be nothing for natural selection to act on. Problem is, we know nothing about how the first living creatures evolved, so we have to look somewhere else where we do have some information. Oh, do we indeed? We need to look elsewhere than where the obvious solution is. No, let's not do that. Let's look exactly there. Tell me, how long did it take for the first living creatures to evolve, do you think? Oh, it seemed to happen quite fast. Something like 100 million years. 100 million years. Oh, how much of all of evolution is this 100 million years? Well, evolution's been going on for about 4 billion years, so 100 million years is a 40th. Yes, a 40th. And how difficult must it have been for those first living creatures to evolve, do you think? Oh, colossally difficult. Just from chemistry, for living creatures to form, to grow, to reproduce? Awesomely difficult. So, let me think. Obviously, for life to begin, something, a process, a handful of processes, must have become a great deal more capable than the simple chemistry they started as. Now, if this, whatever it was, could get smart enough in just 100 million years to create the first living creatures, what could it not do in 40 times as long? So to account for evolution, you need know nothing more than whatever it was that could create the first living creatures. and follow them as they continue to get smarter at that same rate, overcoming ever greater challenges, developing ever greater capabilities. And you know, such a process must exist, able to get smarter, else life could not have got off the ground, and you and I would not be standing here today. Well, that's no help. If we can't find out how the first living creatures evolved, we'll never know how evolution works. Don't be so easily discouraged. We've all the rest of evolution to look to for clues to what that original process was. Your theory of evolution, it may be new, but what does it tell us we didn't know before? What questions does it answer? Well, it tells us who, the genome. It tells us where, in the nucleus of each cell. And it tells us how, by designing into existence new species of living creatures. Now, what and why? Let's answer those. What? What is it we most want to account for? What's most obvious about evolution? Most obvious? Nothing was obvious about it at first. Now it all seems obvious. No. Most obvious. Shout out something about evolution. Quick, anything. Elephants. Evolution created elephants. And that goes for all living creatures. There's nothing like that in the physical world. So I suppose what's most obvious about evolution is it's creative, like us. Creative, yes. Like us? I think you may have things the wrong way round. First, evolution had to become creative, then it could make us creative. It was being creative long before we came along, and it made us, didn't it? So, we're creative because evolution's creative. Isn't that the way round it has to be? We had quite a dialogue. You can read the whole thing at evolvedself.com. Thank you.